we should be up and out of, man. I'm gonna say it like this, man. Look, I was researching how to build my man. You dig me? How to build the man. And they say the best way, hear me out, is to go get this money. Yeah, and a special way to go get the money. So what we're gonna do is, in the background, we gonna watch them get the money, and we gonna get the money how they get the money. Know what I'm saying? We're gonna get the money how they get the money. But first thing we're gonna do is get our last honest upgrade. And we're gonna put it in endurance. Let my stamina go up because I dive a lot. Yeah. Alright. First step, go back down here. And as I go through, I explain what the fuck I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? So boom, this us as we came. Cool. So, I think if I'm mistaken, I put the thing right there. So we gotta go to this spot over here. I hate that. I'm used to clicking down to run fast. And it's not that button no more. So we gotta go back to the beginning area. And that's the hard part right now, figuring out where the beginning area was. Say the first step. And see, my problem is I ain't never acquired it. So that's my fault. Let's go back down here. Alright, there's one I put somewhere else. Let's take that off. Where's 2? It's throwing me out. This is 2. We're going to 2. Where's 1? Oh, okay. 2 is over here somewhere. And I'm still getting used to this. Like, so what's going on is I keep clicking left stick. Left stick usually the goddamn I've been there before. Left stick usually is to run fast. In this case, it's escaping me from my horse. Yeah. Alright, so boom. Let's go over here. See, raise the light and shit. So we skip this. We ain't never even see this shit. We just ain't touch it. That's crazy. We done came here a couple times. We just ain't touched it.
Challenge Godric the Grafted, Lord of Stormvale. Decrepit he may be.
Alright, cool. Alright, cool. So we're gonna follow their little path. Why do I keep doing that? In a minute, I'm gonna see if I can just change they shit. Yeah, let's see that right fast. Let's just take a chance. System. Button settings. Okay. There we go. Alright. Now we're gonna see how that worked for me. I put the movement on one thing, got the crouch on the other. Alright, cool. Now I gotta see. again where they went. To get down. Alright, cool. So I didn't take no damage because I landed close to that thing. There's some over here I gotta steal real fast. I think it's right in here. Alright, fuck no. Come on. Alright, boom. We got it. We got it. We got it. Let's go. How we get out? Alright, boom. We got it. Do we just get up out of here? Yes. Okay, I need to be kind of going that way. Wait, I think I could also fast travel. Alright, we're back to where we started. Alright, so boom, what we just did was we just went and got inventory. We already had one. We already had one. Alright, so let's see what the next part is. See what the next part is. Keep your horses together. Hold your horses. Alright. So they're having a hard time telling me where we're going.
Resting spot. We want to travel directly east along the bank of this lake just here, all the way down around the dip here, and we're going to put a map marker just over here, which is near this sort of fork in the path here. You can see we're going to travel from here just over here, and I'm going to put a waypoint over there by pressing A, and then we're going to go and travel to that waypoint that you can literally see in the distance over there. Just hop down the cliffs here and carry on going all the way to the waypoint. And if you're a fan of Elden Ring or any other Souls games, you may also be interested in this place. They sell metal posters that you can attach to the wall with magnets. And they have some
Oh, they
really
was trying to
cool
sell me a
Souls
poster.
Elden Ring artwork,
Care about no
which
poster.
you can grab from the link down below in the description if you are excited about it, especially right now while there's a discount. And you can see in this
There are a bunch of folks that want to get on my ass.
Now we're going to be just here on the map at the
Oh no.
Lake Sap. So if I go ahead,
I don't want to fuck with nobody.
see that just to the side here, there's a path that we can follow. It goes all the way down through a valley and across a bridge just here on the map. So we're going to put a waypoint just off a grid that we can go ahead and zoom in. You can see that just to the side here, there's a path that we can follow. It goes all the way down through a valley and across a bridge just here on the map. So we're going to put a waypoint on the map. Now we're going to be just here on the map at the Ideal Lake.
So boom, we done made it to point 2.
You can see that just to the side here, there's a path that we can follow. It goes all the way down through a valley and across a bridge just here on the map. So we're going to put a waypoint just after that bridge over here, and that's where we're going to head over to next. So let's go ahead and...
Alright, we need to go down here.
Then we're going to jump up this rock here and just walk over to the road.
That's why our next destination is.
But it's going to head down the road through this valley and
Let's go.
the bridge of sacrifice. It's a rather dangerous bridge because it actually has a ballista on it. So in order to avoid that ballista, basically what you need to do is just listen out for the sound of it firing. As soon as you hear that sound, just launch to the right, like I do. And then it'll miss you every single time. I'm literally just going to slide across it and ignore all the enemies. They won't be able to hit you because they're
Alright, I gotta dodge some shit.
to the other side of the bridge where we put that waypoint. We're just going to pause here in the Weeping Peninsula Valley. And then step a bit more forward until you get closer to the valley. You'll see kind of like a path that carries on going south. So basically, keep following this road south. We'll put another waypoint just here where this sort of T-junction is on the road. And we're going to carry on heading down this path. And you'll see just ahead of us there is a broken down carriage. And inside
Alright, we made it through.
south, we'll put that carriage going south. We're basically just going to keep following this road to the south.
Where we
We've
going?
got another waypoint just here where this sort of T-junction is on the road. And we're going to carry on heading down this pathway. And you'll see just ahead of us
Let's
there
go.
is a broken down carriage. And inside the back of this broken down carriage, up of my horse, we're going to find a chest that we can use. The Morning Star weapon. It's a very important weapon that we need for this guide. Let's go ahead and pick that up. Now at this point you can die, and if you're playing as a mage or weak star, the Morning Star will require a higher strength to use. But don't worry, you can two-hand it and use it effectively. To use it, hold down Y or right while holding it down. And then you'll be two-handing the mace and you can now use it effectively as a weapon. And we're going to fast travel back to the Ideal Lake South resting point here on the map. Once again,
We want to get that item, but we can't. Hold on.
all the way to the north. Another way to there. And if you watch my other videos, you already have this area. Starting on the Ideal South resting point, northward on this pathway. You guys
Ah, yeah, that ain't gonna cut it though.
know the routes. I'm just showing you the new players. Because a lot of people have commented on videos, so I appreciate that. And then we carry on past the bridge and we come across. You can see the path has left across that bridge. We're going to carry on going right, north, down this dirt track here, all the way over to Church of America, which is a location.
Alright, let's put our shit back. Cause it was cool to try. I'm just going to get right.
And here we are at the Church of America.
Alright, hold on. So boom, what did we just steal?
Lake South resting point just here on the map once again. And from here, we're actually going to go all the way to the northeast, where there is another Church of America. We're going to find a chest that we can loot.
Alright, so man.
Modern style weapon. This is a very important weapon that we need for this guide. Let's go ahead and pick that up. Now, at this point, you can die, and if you're playing as a mage for a weaker class, the modern style will require a higher strength to wield. But don't worry, you can just two-hand it and use it effectively. To do this, hold down Y or triangle on PlayStation, and then press the right attack button while holding it down. And then you'll be two-handing the mace, and you can now use it effectively as a weapon. And we're going to fast travel back to the Aquila Lake South resting point just here on the map once again. And from here, you like attack this, but don't worry, you can just two-hand it and use it effectively. To do this, hold down Y or triangle on PlayStation, and then press the right attack button while holding it down. And then you'll be two-handing the mace, and you can now use it effectively as a weapon. And we're going to fast travel back to the Aquila Lake South resting point.
Alright, so I should be able to equip it.
From here, we're actually going to go all the way to the northeast, where there is another Church of America located just here, just below this little lake here. I'm going to put another waypoint there. And if you watch my other video, you already have this area of the map unlocked. If not, starting from the Aquila Lake South resting point, we're literally just going to go northwards on this pathway. You guys can skip ahead if you already know the routes. I'm just showing you for new players, just to make it super clear where to go, because a lot of people have commented in the video saying they appreciate that. And then we're just going to carry on north past the bridge that we come across.
Alright, we gotta pause the tutorial because what are we doing? We look good though. Equipment. Ah. Alright, cool. We got the weapon.
Light attack button as well. All the way to the, and we're going to fast two-handed actually, and you can now use it effectively as a weapon. And we're going to fast travel back to the Aquila Lake South resting point just here on the map once again. And from here, we're actually going to go all the way to the northeast, where there is another Church of America located just here, just below this little lake here. We'll put another waypoint there. And if you watch my other video, you already have this area of the map unlocked. If not, starting from the Aquila Lake South resting point unlocked. If not, and if you watch my other video, you already have this area of the map unlocked. If not, starting from the Aquila Lake South resting point, we're literally just going to go northwards on this pathway. You guys can skip ahead if you already know the routes. I'm just showing you for new players just to make it super clear where to go, because a lot of people have commented on the video saying they appreciate that. And then we're just going to carry on north past the bridge that we've come across. You can see the path turns left on the bridge, but we're going to carry on going right north down this dirt track here, all the way over to the Church of America.
So we're going northeast. I don't really know well, but I know northeast. He ran for a good little minute too. Oh shit.
And here we are at the Church of America. Let's go ahead and head on into inside of it. And just here we can activate the resting spot of Grace. And as you can see, we're now right here on the map at the Third Church of America. And if I go ahead and zoom in on the map, right to the north, just where this lake is, we're going to put another little waypoint just over here, because there's actually a teleporter that's going to take us all the way over here. So from this resting spot, you can see there's a gap in the ruins here. We're just going to run over here through the bushes. You can see our waypoint is just over there. Point just here on the map once again. And from here, we're actually going to go all the way to the northeast, where there is another Church of America located just here, just below this little lake here. We're going to put another waypoint there. And if you watch around the video, you already have this area of the map unlocked. If not, starting from the Agil Lake South resting point, we're just going to go northwards on this pathway.
Yeah, that's a long little route.
You already know the routes. I'm just showing you for new players to make it super clear where to go, because a lot of people have commented on the video saying they appreciate that. And then we're just going to carry on north past the bridge that we come across. You can see the path turns left across that bridge, but we're going to carry on going right north down this dirt track here, all the way over to the Church of America, which is the next location. Here we are at the Church of America. Let's go ahead and head on inside of it. And just here we can activate the resting spot of Grace. And as you can see, we're now right here on the map at the Third Church of America. And if I go ahead and zoom in on the map, right to the north, just where this lake is, we're going to put another little waypoint just over here. See there's a gap in the ruins here. We're just going to run over here through the bushes. See our waypoint is just over there. We'll hop down these rocks to the left just here, and this is the teleporter hidden in the bushes. It sounds like a little bit of wind, and we're going to activate this teleporter travel to another location. Ooh. Basically, that's your reference from here. And now it's going to run past this guy. He's not going to execute the short feet. So as you can see, there's a teleporter all the way to the northeast of the map over here. So we're going to zoom in, and pretty much directly south, we're just going to put a waypoint marker around here where this clouded area is. Just over here. So this is basically the direction we're heading, and you're going to follow where I go now. So if you look in the south there, you can see the waypoint is placed next to that golden tree, basically. That's your reference from here. And now we're just going to run past this guy. He's not going to actually run fast enough. I'm just going to go down this pathway, heading to that here, way up over here. So if you can see, this is teleport plus all the...
So we need to go like right here. Move that. Actually, hold on. We're gonna take one more. Alright, we had to watch a little bit of the video to figure out what to do. Alright. Damn. Alright, so that was the first problem. First problem is we didn't follow the road. Came out here across the bridge, life would have been easy. My lean's gone cold, I wonder why I got out of bed at all. Stop doing that before we die.
And here we are at the Church of America. So let's go ahead.
Church of America, there we going.
Side of it. And just here we can
So boom, we stole the lucky foot. We went and got this mace.
Right here on the map at the third Church of America. And if I go ahead and zoom in on the map, right to the north, just where the lake is, we're going to put another little waypoint just over here. This is actually a teleporter that's going to take us all the way over here. So from this resting spot, you can see there's a gap.
My lean's gone cold, I wonder why I got out of bed at all.
Teleports us all the way to the northeast of the map over here. So we're going to zoom in.
Now we're looking for some teleporter.
So there, the hop down is rock. And here we are at the Church of America. Let's go ahead and head on inside of this. And just here we can activate the resting spot of grace. And as you can see, we're now right here on the map. Third Church of America. And if I go ahead and zoom in on the map, right to the north, just where this lake is, we're going to put another little waypoint just over here, because there's actually a teleporter that's going to take us all the way over here. So from this resting spot, you can see that we're going to run over here through the bushes.
Alright, boom, we made it to this.
And head on inside of it. And just here we can activate the resting spot of grace. And as you can see, we're now right here on the map at the third Church of America. And if I go ahead and zoom in on the map, right to the north, just where this lake is, we're going to put another little waypoint just over here, because there's actually a teleporter that's going to take us all the way over here. So from this resting spot, you can see there's a gap in the ruins there. We're just going to run over here through the bushes. You can see our waypoint is just over there. So hop down these rocks to the lake just here, and this is the teleporter. Isn't in the bushes, kind of like a wispy bit of wind, and we're going to activate this teleporter and travel to another location. Ooh. And now we're at the Rainbow's Dragon Barrow, and there's a spooky enemy behind us. So as you can see, there's a teleporter all the way to the northeast of the map over here. So we're going to zoom in. Pretty much directly south, we're just going to put a waypoint marker around here. Where
My lean's gone cold, I wonder why.
This is basically the direction we're headed, and you're going to follow where I go now. So if you look in the south there, you can see the waypoints we placed next to that golden tree, basically. That's your reference from here. And now we're just going to run past this guy. He's not going to attack you, he's not fast enough. We're just going to go down this pathway, heading east currently. We're going to sort of loop around to the south there. There's a big bridge. Before we get to that bridge, there's actually another resting point which we're going to want to pick up. If you die for some reason in between here, you can just come back using the same teleport. And you see, just before we get to this bridge, there's a resting point on the bridge on the left here. And this is a massive dragon on that bridge. Don't worry about it, he is absolutely harmless. He's very friendly. We want to get on our horse again, and then we're going to ride out to this dragon. What now we're just going to run past this guy. He's not going to attack you, he's not fast enough. He's going to go down this pathway, heading east currently, where it sort of loops around to the south bank. There's a big bridge. And before we get to that bridge, it's actually another resting point that you're going to want to pick up. If you die for some reason in between here, you can just come back to the same teleporter. But you see, just before we get to this bridge, there's a resting point on the way just on the left here. So this is a massive dragon on our bridge. Don't worry about it, he is absolutely harmless. He's very threatening. Once we get on our horse again, and then we're going to ride up on this dragon. And I want to do it quick, like it doesn't attack you. I usually want to run between its legs, so you guys like to do it. It seems to just sort of react to you and then take ages to actually start to attack. So as long as you're riding straight on, you shouldn't have any problem, and you're pretty much
So we gotta try to avoid a big ass dragon. Okay.
Down this pathway. And you can see that's the golden tree where we place the waypoint. And we're going to continue up to this. Ignore the lightning, by the way, it doesn't actually do any damage. And you can see there's another boss go right around these pots. And you want to go later in between these pots. Just over here. And then you're going to head left. This little sort of the area. Lightning, by the way, from that.
Okay, we made it.
Continuing up to this, more lightning, by the way, from that doing damage. And you can see there's another boss directly ahead. So at this point, go right around these pots. And then you're going to have to go later in between these pots. Just over here. And you're going to have to left. This is sort of the area. Where we are. So you can see this is where we were. We went across this bridge then, and now we're just here at the minor earth tree. So then from the foot of this giant tree that we're at, we're going to go directly west now. And we're going to continue along this pathway until we basically get the enemy we can get. Head west down this pathway, ignoring the enemy once again. Just carry on following this cliff edge here, keep going. We eventually have to drop off the ledge just here, so go ahead and do that. That'll be a giant fall. Just go ahead and use it.
This shit deep.
Bridge here. Have a look on the map where we are. You can see this is where we were. We went across this bridge here, and now we're just here at the minor earth tree. So then from the foot of this giant tree that we're at, we're going to go directly west now. And we're going to continue along this pathway until we basically get the enemy we need to get to. Head west down this pathway, ignoring the enemy once again. Just carry on following this cliff edge here, keep going, and we eventually have to drop off this ledge just here, so go ahead and do that. That'll be a giant fall. You can go ahead and yeet if you like. And then we'll get to this sort of area where there's a cliff face. So at this point, follow exactly where I go. We're going to jump up the cliff here. There's a big dragon on the left. We're just going to ride around just here, where I'm going exactly. Carry on riding around. We're going to go just to the right of his wing here, hop over here and head around behind him, and then jump over here. And we're now basically behind the dragon just over here. You can see there's no enemies there, and we're pretty safe. We're going to jump off our horse, and we're going to enter sneak mode. Just make sure that none of those dragons have followed you. See, there's no enemies here, and we're pretty safe. We're going to jump off our horse, and we're going to enter sneak mode. Just make sure that none of those dragons have followed you. Now, if you want to know the exact location, you don't have the map uncovered. This was the minor earth tree we're at, and we are now just here next to this pathway, and that is where we are at this dragon boss. And as you can see, we are absolutely fine here. So, what we're going to do is now we're going to walk in between this sort of dragon's wing here, which is like armpit area, and we're just going to start hitting him from here while we two-hand our weapon. Now, as you can see, we are going to start to melee this dragon with our Morning Star mech, and it will do very little damage. But this doesn't actually matter, because each time you attack, you actually be stacking the bleed effect, which does percentage-based damage after it builds up. So after several attacks, you'll do 30,000 to attack. I'm going to look here next to this pathway, and that is where we are at this dragon boss. And as you can see, we are absolutely fine here. So we'll be at this
Alright, so we went too far.
So what we're going to do is now we're going to walk in between this sort of dragon's wing here, which is like armpit area, and we're going to see the start hitting him from here while we still have our weapon. Now as you can see, we are going to start to melee this dragon with our Morningstar mate, and it will do very little damage. So this doesn't actually matter, because each time you attack, you're actually stacking the bleed effect, which does percentage-based damage after it builds up. So after several attacks, you'll do 30,400 damage very suddenly, and a big chunk of the boss's health will disappear. And you're pretty much going to carry on light attacking the dragon to do this repeatedly until the dragon is low on health. I suggest that you just carry on light attacking until your stamina is low, and then wait for it to fill up, and then start the combo again. This will take you 5 minutes to kill the dragon from 2 health. So it doesn't take very long at all. The best part is the dragon doesn't fight back, so you're going to get these runes for nothing. But now comes the most important part of the video. You do not want to kill the dragon completely yet. You just want to get it as low as possible. So as long as you're doing this early on with any character in Elden Ring at the start of the game, using the Morningstar weapon, you always end up getting the dragon to this sort of small slither of health that we see at the end here. So once you've almost killed the dragon and you've just triggered the bleed effect, and it drops down to low health like this, you're going to want to make sure you equip your golden pickled Valkyr from your inventory and put it in your quick slot ready to use. Then we're just going to hit the dragon several more times. Then activate the golden pickled Valkyr, so you can see it ticking away there, and then just carry on attacking until it's dead. Then you'll also get the extra boost in wounds that the golden Valkyr gives you for being active at the same time that you're killing this dragon. But if for some reason you run out of golden Valkyries, there's a guide on how to farm them linked below. Golden Valkyries do give a 30% boost to the amount of wounds you get, so they are great wounds. And you can actually farm an unlimited amount of them very easily as well. So as you can see, after the dragon is killed, we get all of the runes of the dragon surrounding us, 96,702 on the bottom right corner there in total. So you can see that however, it is a bit harder to do. So now we have killed the great dragon, we can pretty much just fast travel back. Now basically behind the dragon, just over here, you can see there's no enemies here, and we're pretty safe. So we're going to jump off our horse, and we're going to enter sneak mode. Just make sure that none of those dragons have followed you. Now, if you want to know the exact location, you don't have the map uncovered. This was the minor Erd tree we're at, and we are now just here next to this pathway, and that is where we are at this dragon boss. And as you can see, we're absolutely fine here. So what we're going to do from the foot of this giant tree that we're at is to go straight on in between these pots, just over here, and then you're going to head left up this little sort of rocky area just here. And then we're going to stop here, have a look on the map where we are. So you can see this is where we were. We went across this bridge here, and now we're just here at the minor Erd tree. So then from the foot of this giant tree that we're at, we're going to go directly west now. And we're going to continue along this pathway until we basically get the enemy we need to get to. Head west down this pathway. Carry on following this foot here, keep going. We'll eventually have to drop off this ledge just there, so you can go ahead and do that. There'll be a giant pool, you can go ahead and leave if you like. And then we'll get to this sort of area where there's a cliff face. So at this point, follow exactly where I go. We're going to jump up the cliff there. There's a big dragon on the left. We're just going to ride around just here, where I'm going exactly. Carry on riding around. We're going to go just to the right of there's a big dragon on the left. We're just going to ride around. Just here, where I'm going exactly. Carry on riding around. We're going to go just to the right of his wing here, hop over here and head round behind him, and then jump over here. And we're now basically behind the dragon, just over here. You can see there's no enemies here, and we're pretty safe. We're going to jump off our horse, and we're going to enter sneak mode. Just make sure that none of those dragons have followed you. Now, if you want to know the exact location, you don't have the map uncovered. This was the minor tree we're at, and we are now just here next to this pathway. And as you can see, we're absolutely fine here. So, what we're going to do is now we're going to walk in between this little dragon's wing here, just like on this area, and we'll just soon start hitting him from here while we see who has our weapon. Now, as you can see, we're going to start to melee this dragon with our Morning Star Snake, and it will do very little damage. But this doesn't actually matter, because each time you attack, you're actually stacking the bleed effect, which does percentage-based damage whenever it is done. Large several attacks will do 30,000 damage very but this doesn't actually matter, because each time you attack, you're actually stacking the bleed effect, which does percentage-based damage after it builds up. So after several attacks, you'll do 30,400 damage very suddenly.
Alright, so boom, we snuck up on the dragon.
And that is where we are at this boss. And as you can see, we are absolutely fine here. So what we're going to do is now we're going to walk in between the sort of dragon wing here, just like armpit area, and we're going to start hitting him from here while we see who has our weapon. Now, as you can see, we're going to start to melee this dragon with our Morning Star Snake, and it will do very little damage. But this doesn't actually matter, because each time you attack, you're actually stacking the bleed effect, which does percentage-based damage after it builds up. So after several attacks, you'll do 30,400 damage very suddenly, and a big chunk of the boss's health will disappear. And you're pretty much going to carry on light attacking the dragon to do this repeatedly until the dragon is low on health. I suggest that you just carry on light attacking until your stamina is low, and then wait for it to fill up, and then start the combo again. This will take you 5 minutes to kill the dragon from full health. So it doesn't take very long at all. The best part is the dragon doesn't fight back. You're going to get these illusions for nothing. But now comes the most important part of the video. You do not want to kill the dragon completely yet. You just want to get it as low as possible. So as long as you're doing this early on with any character in Elden Ring at the start of the game, using the Orgin style weapon, you always end up getting the dragon to this sort of full sliver of health that you see against it. So once you've wanted to kill the dragon, you just trigger the bleed effect, and it looks down below health like this. You're going to have to make sure you put your golden pickle outfit from your inventory and put it in your quick slot ready to use. Then we're just going to hit the dragon several more times. Then activate the golden pickle outfit to the taking away there, and then just carry on attacking until it's dead. And you also get the extra boost that the golden outfit gives you for being active at the same time as killing the dragon. But if for some reason you run out of golden outfit,
We just gotta beat this motherfucker back.
golden outfit gives you the 30% boost. See, that's what we get for the Elden Ring. But you can see after the dragon is killed, you get all of the boosts in the dragons, the round like 2,000. So you can see there's a big difference there. In fact, there's a way to increase that number. However, it is a bit hard to do. And no matter how big the weight dragon, you can pretty much just fast travel back to the first resting store or anywhere else you want to go. And we're going to level up our character. So as you can see, you will be 100,000 boots, depending on what class you're using and what level you start at. You can have all of your characters however you can run. I was starting to go setting out other starting classes with really nice below. You just put simultaneous stats randomly instead of having to in total, it starts the game at level 9. Satellite class level up another 24 times. And good. If you want to get new abilities, you can spend like another 20,000 regions to allow you to level even further. You're going to be screen with golden scarab with boots to reach the game by another 7%. And when that is golden southward, you will get another 50% of the region. However, the golden scarab happening requires you to get a in order to obtain, which is why I didn't include it in stacks with the golden falcon, we'll be getting another 50% of the rooms whenever you kill something. However, the golden scarab helmet requires you to use the box this video. I'll be the guide on how to obtain that golden falcon. There's a golden falcon. Special attack will be 40,400 damage very suddenly and a big drop in the golden health due to the game. And to bring up going to carry on light attacking the dragon defeated repeatedly until the dragon is low on health. I suggest that you just carry on light attacking until the stamina is low, and the first person fill up and then start the combo again. This is taking 5 minutes until the dragon comes to health. So it doesn't take very long at all. The best part is the dragon doesn't fight back, so you're going to get these rooms for nothing. But now comes the most important part of the video. You do not want to kill the dragon completely yet. You just want to get it as low as possible. So as long as you're doing this early on with any character in Elden Ring at the start of the game, using the Northern Star weapon, you'll always end up getting the dragon to this sort of small sliver of health that we see at the end. So once you've always killed the dragon and you've just triggered the bleed effect, and it drops down below health like this, you're going to want to make sure you insert your golden pickled falcon from your inventory and put it in your quick slot ready to use. Then we're just going to hit the dragon several more times. Then activate the golden pickled falcon, so you can see it ticking away there, and then just carry on attacking until it's dead. Then you'll also get the extra boost in rings that the golden falcon gives you for being active at the same time that you're killing this dragon. But if for some reason you run out of golden foul feet, there's a guide at the bottom linked below. Golden foul feet do give a 30% boost the amount of runes you get, so they are great for farming runes with. And you can actually farm an unlimited amount of them very easily as well. So as you can see, after the dragon is killed, we get all of the runes from the dragon surrounding us, 96,702 on the bottom right corner there in open. So you can see there's a big difference there. In fact, there's a big difference. So you can actually farm an unlimited amount of this very easily as well. So as you can see, after the dragon is killed, we get all of the runes from the dragon surrounding us, 96,702 on the bottom right corner in open. So you can see there's a big difference. In fact, there's a relatively big difference. However, it is a bit hard to do. So now we have killed the great dragon, we can pretty much just travel back to the first step resting spot or anywhere else you want to go. We have a level up our character. So as you can see, using 100,000 runes, depending on what class you're using and what level you start at, you can now set up your character build however you would like. I would strongly suggest checking out another starter guide or character build guide below. You want to allocate your stats randomly and instead have you build in total, from starting the game at level 9, that's why I level up another 22 times. And if you want to get more runes using this method, I mean like another 20,000 runes to allow you to level up even further, you're going to want to obtain the golden scarab runes obtained by a level. Then, when it stacks with the golden falcon, you'll be getting another 50% of runes whenever you kill it. However, the golden scarab helmet will always kill a boss in order to obtain, which is why I didn't include it in this video. Instead, there'll be a guide on how to obtain that and unlimited golden falcon linked down below in the video description. So I hope you found this video helpful. I'll see you in the next one.
I've got something really special for you guys today. So I decided to make a rune farm video where we use rune farm exploits and all sorts of stuff to go from level 1, brand new character right out of the gate, all the way to...
Okay, boom. Now, if you look at the bottom, we just got plenty of money. We just got plenty of money, man.
Upwards on this path. So you're going to get the route, depending on what class you're using.
Right now,
Pretty
let's.
much just fast travel back to the first step resting spot or anywhere else we want to go. And we're going to level up our character. So as you can see, using the 100,000 runes, depending on what class you're using and what level you start at, you can now set up your character build however you would like. I would strongly suggest checking out another starter guide or character build guide linked below, so you don't just allocate your stats randomly and you instead have a build plan in mind. In total, from starting the game at level 9, the Samurai class can level up another 24 times using this method. But if you want to get even more runes using this method, and I mean like another 20,000 runes or
So, bro, we
to allow you
cheated.
to level up even further,
We
you
cheated.
want to obtain the Golden Scout,
See, look,
which
boom.
boosts the runes you obtain by another 20%, and when stacked with the
We
Golden
can go
Scout
up
book, you'll be
a
getting
lot of
another
levels.
50% more runes whenever you kill something. However, the Golden Scarab helmet requires you to kill a
It's lit,
boss in
though.
order to obtain, which is why I didn't include it in this video. Instead, there'll be a guide on how to obtain that and unlimited golden outputs linked down below in the video description. So I hope you found this video helpful.
So while we cheat, man, we're gonna see how we want to build our dude. You know what I'm saying? Barely, not completely, of course. Bandit, Elden Ring.
Across from it's a big chunky fellow who is our blacksmith, who's going to make our knife swole AF, but at a cost which requires souls. It increases build-up of status that helps scale is a death sentence with this build. When it comes to stats, our primary damage skill is Dex. However, Arcane greatly helps scale our knife as well as has an unspoken secondary effect. Arcane increases build-up of status effects slightly, which is extremely helpful for bleed builds. I found getting Arcane to 25 is probably as high as I'll go for now, and then got my Endurance to 20 because I wanted to wear heavier armor. After that, I pumped Dex to 40, and then I started reinvesting in both Fight and Endurance so I could have more health and better armor. How you play this character is actually more complex than just spamming L1, though you can certainly spam L1 while power stancing your daggers. The attack animation for that power stance dagger hit is actually kind of weird in that you attack twice with the left-hand dagger and once with the right on the first L1 press. This is good because it will help get frost on faster, but once the enemy gets frost, you don't really want to put more frost on it so it doesn't do anything, and a Reduva dagger does way more damage. So once you see the enemy has the frost debuff, I'd suggest switching to only using your Reduva for the duration of it, pressing R1 or R2 or L2 to maximize bleeding damage. Once frost falls off, reapply. As mentioned before as well, this is actually a fairly difficult build if you're a complete beginner until you get lots of vitality and armor, as well as it's dependent on your roll ability. For most smaller enemies, your hyperactive flailing of daggers actually has fairly high stagger, which will often lock them out of attacking, but enemies with high poison armor, you'll have to do hit and run tactics. That being said, be sure to use the Reduva's L2 as part of your string. I found that dashing and landing hits, then rolling out when they attack, and then landing an L2 roll ability. Often part of your string, an L2 range strike is going to be doing a dance of cold, bleeding death around everything, which is totally rad and completely insane. Alright, so we've got arguably the best knife in the game, we've got a frost knife super early, and we've got a ton of XP and levels to help us move on. Be sure to use the damage. Once the enemy gets, it's actually kind of weird in that you attack twice.
These two barrels, use it for status effect. You probably won't use this much early on, other than maybe when you get bleed arrows. You'll probably use it later on in the game, decreasing damage by up for the amount of points you put into it. You get much better equip load than you do get 6, I think, the tunnel, like the mine area, the kind of attached to the
Stats are vigor and dexterity. Tertiary is mind to increase focus gauge a bit. Important thing to know is how to use combos with two daggers. By pressing left quick attack button L1 or LB, flurry of strikes is performed. Benefit of this is that when hitting enemy many times in a row, blood will...
Ah.
If you ever
never liked the idea of playing as the cursed lord, kind of like Morgoth, putting everybody's foolish ambitions to rest. Well, I have the build for you. Because in today's video, we're going to take a look at really awesome one that cycle attack, usually resulting in enemy stun. Temptation deal as much damage as possible with this. So 262 at about 40 arcane. This is going to be one of the primary stats, the other one being of course dexterity. This is the main one you will want since you get a V scale with the Morgoth sword. And on top of that, this is also the stat that scales the damage further on that weapon skill. Talisman wise, obviously since this primarily uses that weapon art, we want to buff that as much as possible, and here is where the Shard of Alexander comes into play. Pretty much the best in slot for any build that relies on weapon skills in general. But because the skill on Morgoth's Cursed Sword also has a fire component to it, it totally benefits from also adding a fire scorpion charm. Like the Blood Flame Blade, so it still qualifies.
While to get the grace by the big. After that, just dump points into Dex and Arcane, preferencing Dex at this stage.
Get Dex and Arcane to 13. Dex being, Arcane being. Vigor to 20. Alright. Endurance 10 to 15. Alright. Everything else in dexterity. Now, alright, cool. That's cool for right now.
And 15. After that, just dump points into Dex and Arcane, preferencing Dex at this stage. Okay, now we have to go Murder and Invader. It's tough. I'm sorry. The knife we want is called the Reduvia, and it's not only cool looking, it's arguably one of the best daggers in the entire game. But to get it, we have to kill an NPC invader who has it, and turns out giving the best dagger in the entire. The knife stack. Endurance to between 10 and 15. After that, just dump points into Dex and Arcane, preferencing Dex at this stage. Okay, now we have to go Murder and Invader.
We're gonna go with that for sure. So we got Selmo. Now, I was looking at some other stuff. I also want to have some archer.
Arrows. Use it for status effects. You probably put a stone object there that they, especially if you're playing the bandit, you have 10 vigor. I like to get this up to 15 or 20 on any character I'm playing. You are going to get hit. You are going to take damage. You want to live. That's the main thing. You want to survive. You don't have to survive by much, but you want to survive. So in order to be able to take that health potion, getting your vigor up is priority number one. Once your vigor's up, you can start to increase dexterity. It'll do a little bit more damage, and it'll also, help you meet your requirements for future builds that you might use. I do want to mention that this build is a stamina hog, because you're constantly rolling and jumping and shooting, all of which consume stamina. Stamina for the amount of points you put into it. You get much better equip load than you do stamina out of endurance. So it's not something you should prioritize early on. The next thing I want to mention is that you need to upgrade your bow to at least +3 as fast as possible. You're going to get the best increase in damage by up Storm Hill and Smash it. So make sure you go get that immediately and then get some more stones. You can do that from the tunnel, like the mine area that's kind of attached to the lake. There's a bunch of material upgrades there. Get that to +3 ASAP. Like before you start doing really anything else after you have arrows, go do that ASCP. And then you can start really tackling the concept of your setup. Archers take a little bit more prep work to get going than other builds do. You want to do that prep work so that you are successful and you feel like you can play an archer. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to fail and you're going to feel like you can't play one. So talking about how to play an archer, actually, like beyond the attributes, how do you play one? So the first thing you need to know is that on your longbow, you're going to have my shot. And
feel like I should have some faith. Bum bum bum. Hey, bum 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 bum. Yeah, man. So long as y'all understand that we cheated. That's all I need y'all to understand. We cheated. We definitely cheated. All right. Drink. That's what we need. Oh, we in the game. Alright. Now, boom, let's go back to this later. I think she could sell me some.
It's you again. Always a pleasure. Care to purchase anything?
Alright, boom.
Pleasure to see you. Thank goodness. I'm still looking for me.
Be sure to tell me if you wish to serve has been my companion since childhood. I don't believe unknown is deed to those who own more, unless those who own more should. Ah, well then.
Steady incantations.
Golden Order ship.
Should be able to buy a weapon from somewhere.
Then you would do well to understand before those who would follow the guidance I show, and you.
Bunch of books. Ah. Two thumbs up. I'm a big dog, little boy, use a pup.
Invader, it's tough. And hop to the left. The knight should glitch and die, which will give you free several tens of thousands of souls. I would like to point out this is extremely finicky, so it will probably take a few tries. But there is also a shrine that will provide an easy respawn if he does kill you, which he probably will. The knight...
I feel like we should do this other dagger. Purchase that. Alright, we're gonna buy some arrows. We'll be broke, but it'll be okay. Okay? Fair enough?
It's you again. Always a pleasure. Care to purchase anything?
Yes.
Goodbye.
So then explored a lot, man. And I feel like that's enough for today, man. You cheated. You did a great job cheating. Man. So yeah, we're gonna save this one. And we're probably gonna cheat again. Now let's get all our cheating out the way one time.
Hello, welcome to 3-Minute Game Pass. I'm Nathan, and I got a question for you. Have you ever wanted to make enemies bleed their own blood? Also make them feel like they're standing outside of an open refrigerator when they do it? Okay, maybe not the best intro I've come up with. In this guide, we're going to check out the Bandit, who if you pick them, you quickly realize they're probably the hardest starting class in the game besides Wretch. But don't worry, if you pick Bandit, we are going to quickly turn you into a boss, enemy-freezing, aggressive monster that absolutely melts enemies. Here's how to make your Bandit godly OP with twin daggers in under an hour.
Saying an hour too.
First, we're going to need to discuss how debuffs work in order to explain why this build is so great. A real over.
You ain't got to explain that to me.
Probably. Buff demonstrating how skilled you are at being very obnoxious. Luckily, the dagger we're getting is going to be strong enough that it doesn't matter. And additionally, every time you pop a bleed on an enemy, be it boss or other, on this ability, probably have its entire game and only a handful of frost weapons as well. Like bleed, after its build-up actually really insane, it also hinders stamina that we don't resist frost. It's absolutely fantastic in an offhand weapon, and is probably why there aren't a lot of frost weapons in the game, and most of them are locked later on. So why don't we just get it at the start of the game? Why not? That seems fair balanced. Let's ditch this section and get OP, but first we gotta make our character. We're going to start with Bandit because I both like to start with that, and because the starting dagger is actually pretty great and we're going to use it. Pick C as your gift because as weird as this is going to sound, we actually do use some FP and you'll need some FP potions. Then you're going to do the usual intro stuff. Touch 3 Grace, get Torrent and level up, or back to the first church to talk to the waifu, to get summons, and eventually we'll get to the round table. Additionally, we're going to do our little side journey to get a Somber Stone 5 as well as kill the dragon for 50k souls. Luckily, our starting knife comes with bleed, so this should be very easy. There's a more detailed version of this on the Holy Warrior build as well as a dedicated dragon farming build, but the short version is as follows. Head down to the beach and pick up the chicken foot here. After that, head
so it told me how to do everything
south area
a different
and open
way.
the chest in the basement and bait nation your way to a hell mine. Once you're in the hell mine, run outside like the pansy you are, fighting nothing, and head west along the canyon. Take a detour once you reach this northern crevice filled with balls, and grab the Somber Stone 5 at the end. Once you have it, exit and continue west until you hit a swamp, and then hit a Grace, and then Grace again. Then you're going to follow the path north until you hit a wall. From the wall, head across this canyon, Grace, and then follow the road.
Now, they doing a lot of shit I ain't doing.
Ride the wall to get to Grace by the big dragon in the castle, and this is our XP spot. You'll be hitting the body as much as you can with the knife, keeping an eye on its health in that tiny bar in the corner. You'll deal bleed after several hits, so keep an eye on the health and eat the chicken foot when it's almost dead. Once you do, you'll now have around 98,000 runes depending on your luck, which will give you a leg up for all the crazy stuff we're going to need to do. You'll need to first get Dex and Arcane to 13 no matter what, so make sure that's in place for our upcoming OP weapon. Then I would suggest getting your Vigor to 20 and Endurance to between 10 and 15. After that, just dump points into Dex and Arcane, preferencing Dex at this stage. Okay, now we have to go Murder and Invader. It's tough. I'm sorry. The knife we want is called the Reduvia, and it's not only cool looking, it's arguably one of the best daggers in the entire game. But to get it, we have to kill an NPC invader who has it, and turns out giving the best dagger in the game to an enemy means it's hard for us to kill them. However, I do have some strategies. The Bloody Finger Invader can be found here in this canyon and spawns around the middle of it. You have a Grace north here or south here, but there is also a shrine that will provide an easy respawn if he does kill you, which he probably will. The knife has both a ranged bleeding attack as well as is just strong, and you are equipped with just this starting penalty dagger. Remember, this is still doable if you act strategically. First, if you get hit once, it'll trigger an ally invasion who will come and help you. I suggest after you take your first hit, you just run the hell away from him and keep your distance as far as possible, trying to lure him into the other invader as they spawn. Pull away from him, trigger an out. Dex at this stage. Okay, now we have to go murder an invader. It's tough. I'm sorry. The knife we want is called the Reduvia, and it's not only cool looking, it's arguably one of the best daggers in the entire game. But to get it, we have to kill an NPC invader
So I don't know what
and it turns out using the best dagger in the game to an enemy means it's hard for us to kill them. However, I do have to say, the Bloody Finger Invader can be found here in this canyon and spawns around the middle of it. You have a grace north here or south here, but there is also a shrine that will provide an easy respawn if he does kill you, which he probably will. The knife has both a ranged bleeding attack as well as is just strong, and you are equipped with just this starting penalty. The knife has both a ranged...
Alright, so I don't know where we going, but we're going to get on some ass. Yeah, I do know that. Oh, bitch. Bitch. I ain't stunning you right now, bro. Don't worry, I'm gonna get on your ass.
Between 10 and 15. After that, just dump points into Dex and Arcane, preferencing Dex at this stage. Okay, now we have to go murder an invader. It's tough. I'm sorry. The knife we want is called the Reduvia, and it's not only cool looking, it's arguably one of the best daggers in the entire game. But to get it, we have to kill an NPC invader who has it, and it turns out giving the best dagger in the game to an enemy means it's hard for us to kill them. However, I do have some strategies. The Bloody Finger Invader can be found here in this canyon and spawns around the middle of it. You have a grace north here or south here, but there is also a shrine that will provide an easy respawn if he does kill you, which he probably will. The knife has both a ranged bleeding attack as well as is just strong, and you are equipped with just this starting penalty dagger. But this is still doable if you act strategically. First, if you get hit once, it'll trigger an ally invasion who will come and help you. I suggest after you take your first hit, you just run the hell away from him and keep your distance as far as possible, trying to lure him into the other invader as they spawn. Once the friendly invader is there, you want to try to get him to pull aggro so you can take pot shots at the invader to try and really help them. You're going to need to deploy hit and run tactics, and that is it with this guy because, again, remember he has a ranged attack and he's incredibly vicious and applies bleeding. Again, this is not going to be easy, but hopefully your infusion of dragon levels has made it so that you'll be able to withstand the onslaught, kick his butt, and take his knife. Now, this knife is absolutely bonkers. First, it scales to both Arcane and Dex, referencing Arcane, which is very unique. Secondly, it has fantastic loot build-up, but its most important feature is its weapon ash, which is completely broken. You fire a mid-range slice of bleed, which not only does an absurd amount of damage, but also a ton of speed as well. It can be fantastic for keeping stacks on enemies or just spamming them at range. But we're going to need to upgrade this bad boy, so let's go do just that. Okay, this quest will require an extremely long journey, which is outlined in the holy... Most important, his butt and take his knife. Now, you're going to need to employ... However, I do have some strategies. The Bloody Finger Invader can be found here in this canyon and spawns around the middle of it. You have a grace north here or south here, but there is also a shrine that will provide an easy respawn if he does kill you, which he probably will. The knife has both a ranged bleeding attack as well as is just strong, and you are equipped with just this starting penalty dagger. Remember, this is still doable if you act strategically. First, if you get hit once, it'll trigger an ally invasion who will come and help you. I suggest after you take your first hit, you just run the hell away from him and keep your distance as far as possible, trying to lure him into the other invader as they spawn. Once the friendly invader is there, you want to try to get him to pull aggro so you can take pot shots at the invader to try and whittle his health down. You're going to need to employ hit and run tactics, and that is it with this guy because, again, remember he has a ranged attack and he's incredibly vicious and applies bleeding. Again, this is not going to be easy, but hopefully your infusion of dragon levels has made it so that you'll be able to withstand the onslaught, kick his butt, and take his knife. Now, this knife is absolutely bonkers. First, it scales with both Arcane and Dex, preferencing Arcane, which is fairly unique. Secondly, it has fantastic bleed build-up, but its most important feature is its weapon ash, which is completely broken. You fire a mid-range slice of bleed, which not only does an absurd amount of damage, but also a ton of bleed as well, making this knife fantastic for keeping bleed stacks on enemies or just spamming them at range. But we're going to need to upgrade this bad boy, so let's go do just that. Okay, this quest will require an extremely long journey, which is outlined in the Holy Knight video, but as much as I'd like to just direct you to that one to increase the number of hits I get on the video and increase my ad revenue by a whopping tens of cents, I'll get the brief version here because I'm just that nice. You need to enter the second area in area of the lake, skipping the first castle, which is easily done by running across the busted bridge, hopping down, and just following the side cliff face until you hit a grave. You're then just going to continue going north and slightly west for a really long time, like many minutes of riding. Put it on a YouTube video, grab some snacks. Feel free to use this map to help you find phrases along the way, and also know that on your map, if it's not filled in, look for the little tower so you can find the map piece and be able to see where you're going. Once you get to the far northwest shore, you head north and slightly east into the ruins, hitting the invisible wall, and popping the break. Across from it's a big chunky fellow who is our blacksmith, who's going to make our nice cool AF, but at a cost which requires souls. Let's go choose some more. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this is also an Holy Knight video, but let's find it out. What's the spot other now dead dragon, and basically just go north, only detouring if you're about to fall off a cliff and die. I recommend finding a safe path down and try to see this bridge beneath. Find a safe way down there and brave, and then make it night. It has to be night to work. And now I'm going to make the steering as the dying from poison. Have him chase you up the poison hill, but make sure he stays very close behind, but not so close to the cage. Once you get to the top and see the guys, just push it and pop to the left. The knight should switch and die, but can give you free several things. I would like to point out this is extremely finicky, so we'll probably take a few tries. Also, if he kills you, you'll need to use grace to make it night again as fast as that. If you don't want to do this trick, the boulder trick is right here as well. All you have to do is head close behind the safe way down there and grace.
Alright, boom. So
Invader. It's tough. I'm Finesse, which is knife. Now this knife is absolutely bonkers. First, it scales with both Arcane and Dex, preferencing Arcane, which is fairly unique. Secondly, it has fantastic bleed buildup, but its most important feature is its weapon ash, which is completely broken. You fire a mid-range slice of bleed, which not only does an absurd amount of damage, but also a ton of bleed as well, making this knife fantastic for keeping bleed stacks on enemies or just spamming them at range. But we're going to need to upgrade this bad boy, so let's go do just that. Okay, this quest will require an extremely long journey, which is outlined in the Holy Knight video, but as much as I'd like to just direct you to that one to increase the number of hits I get on the video and increase my ad revenue by a whopping tens of cents, I'll give the brief version here because I'm just that nice of a guy. You need to enter the second area in Lunaria of the Lake, skipping the first castle, which is easily done by running across the busted bridge, hopping down, and just following the side of the cliff face until you hit a grave. We're then just going to continue going north and slightly west for a really long time, like many minutes of riding. Put it on a YouTube video, grab some snacks. Feel free to use this map to help you find phrases along the way, and also know that on your map, if it's not filled in, look for the little tower so you can find the map piece and be able to see where you're going. Once you get to the far northwest shore, you head north and slightly east into the ruins, hitting the invisible wall and popping this brace. Across from it's a big chunky fellow who is our blacksmith, who's going to make our knife swole AF, but at a cost which requires souls. So let's go cheese some more. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this is also an Holy Knight video, but let's speed it up. Warp to the spot by the now dead dragon and basically just go north, only detouring if you're about to fall off a cliff and die. I recommend finding a safe path down until you see this church beneath you. Find a safe way down there and grace, and then make it night. It has to be night for this to work. We're now going to bait the scary Nazgul, the dying from poison. Have him chase you up the poison hill, but make sure he stays very close behind, but not so close that he kills you. Once you get to the top and see these three guys, just flip it and pop to the left. The knight should glitch and die, which will give you free several tens of thousands of souls. I would like to point out this is extremely finicky, so it will probably take a few tries. Also, if he kills you, you'll need to use grace to make it night again as time will pass. If you don't want to do this trick, the boulder trick is right here as well. All you have to do is head down the nearby hill, bait the boulder spawn, lure the boulder to fall off the cliff, and you will get around 2,000 souls. Once you have all the runes you need, warp back to the smith and buy somber stones 1 through 4. Now upgrade the knife to +5, and congrats. This thing will now do literally like a quarter of the first lord's health with one press of L2. Balanced gameplay. But this ain't enough damage over time. I want to do amp damage and also have the enemy move slowly and be in a refrigerator. Let's make our chill out knife. From the giant blacksmith, we're now going to head north around this manor that's going to try and blast us from space via dingleberry artillery, so avoid it and head knife. From the giant blacksmith, we're now going to head north, bait the boulder spawn, lure the boulder to hill, but make sure he stays very close behind, if you're about to fall off a cliff and die. I recommend finding a safe path down until you see this church, but you find phrases along the way. Feature is its weapon ash, which is completely completely broken. You fire a mid-range slice of bleed, which not only does an absurd amount of damage, but also a ton of bleed as well, making this knife fantastic for keeping bleed stacks on enemies or just spamming them at range. But we're going to need to upgrade this bad boy, so let's go do just that. Okay, this part's going to require an extremely long journey, which is outlined in the Holy Knight video, but as much as I'd like to just direct you to that one to increase the number of hits I get on the video and increase my ad revenue by a whopping tens of cents, I'll give the brief version here because I'm just that nice of a guy. You need to enter the second area in Lunaria of the Lake, skipping the first castle, which is easily done by running across the busted bridge, hopping down, and just following the side of the cliff face until you hit a grace. We are then just going to continue going north and slightly west for a really long time, like many minutes of riding. Put on a YouTube video, grab some snacks. Feel free to use this map to help you find graces along the way, and also note that on your map, if it's not filled in, look for the little tower so you can find the map piece and be able to see where you're going. Once you get to the far northwest shore, you head north and slightly east into the ruins, hitting the invisible wall and popping this grace. Across from it's a big chunky fellow who is our blacksmith, who is going to make our knife swole AF, but at a cost which requires souls, so let's go cheese some more. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this is also an Holy Knight video, but let's speed it up. North to the spot by the now dead dragon, and basically just go north, only detouring if you're about to fall off a cliff and die. I recommend finding a safe path down until you see this church beneath you. Find a safe way down there and grace, and then make it nice. It has to be nice to work. I'm now going to bait the scary Nazgul to dying from poison. Have him chase you up the poison hill, but make sure he stays very close behind, but not so close that he kills you. Once you get to the top and see these three guys, just hoof it and hop to the left. The knight should glitch and die, which will give you free several tens of thousands of souls. I would like to point out this is extremely tricky, so we'll probably take a few tries. Also, if he kills you, you'll need to use grace to make it.
Yeah, man, we out of here.
If you don't want to do this trick, the boulder trick.
All right, we out of here.
Well, all you have to do is.
We did a good job cheating today. We got our levels up. Finna eat ourselves some. And the question really is, are we proud of ourselves? And the answer is yes. We are. Extremely excited about cheating the game. Think it'll give me a more fun playthrough. Actually, while we're here, let's go. Let's actually go attack some stuff. Now, I remember this gave me so much trouble in the beginning. And now we built a little different. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Alright, so yeah. We still gotta learn how to play. But